going on, everybody? This is David from Project 510. I'm here at PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts, hanging out with Brian Wheeler from ZeniMax Studios, checking out Elder Scrolls Online. Now here at Elder Scrolls, definitely an amazing game, not only for Elder Scrolls fans, but also the MMO fans. So what was the greatest part of making that change over?
What to me was awesome is, you know, with recent games like Oblivion and Skyrim, people are always playing it on their consoles or playing it on the PC. And as you're playing it, you see your buddies sign in, and you're like, oh, I want to play with them so bad. So I think it's a mixture of it's the generation and the time. It's perfect to make it an MMO, and that's why we were like, well, we need to make Elder Scrolls Online, and that's what we're providing for the people.
Now, as the PvP lead designer, going from just solo to PvP, adding all these new players, how are the servers going to handle?
Servers are going to handle it great. We have guys that have been doing this for a long time that I've worked with for like 10, 12 years now. So we know how to make sure the server and the client are stable. We're shooting for 200 people on your screen at once fighting. We actually have already accomplished that back at the studio, where we have these large weekly fights of people fighting over keeps and fighting over resources in Cyrodiil, and the server is doing fine with it. So it's been really great to get that idea in their head of huge battles, actually see it on screen and play it.
Now, with all the big battles that's going to be happening, is it going to be strictly within Cyrodiil, or is the entire world open for chaos?
The only that's craziness, but the only space which is actually open is in Cyrodiil. We really want to make sure that the experience you have as you're leveling up your character is safe and not worrying about looking over your shoulder all the time. Like while there is desires for that, we know that the Elder Scrolls players, they're not used to getting ganked all over the place. So that's why in your home territory you're safe, but in Cyrodiil you're not safe, but you are safe from your own alliance. We make sure that the Daggerfall players can't kill Daggerfall players. You're part of a team and you're fighting against the other alliances.
What are some of the benefits of joining into the giant PvP battles?
You'll be able to level up your character by killing other players and also taking keeps, defending keeps, and doing PvP quests out there. So you can level up your character. You can go in at level 10 and we scale your character's stats up so you're still effective. I've been in cases where I've been a level 10 and killed a level 50, but I've also been in cases where the level 50s kick my ass. So there are plenty of times where level 10s can gang up on a 50. What's also great is siege weaponry really levels that playing field for not only the lower level guys, but for PvE people who are like a little leery about hopping in. There's nothing that makes you feel better than launching a huge fireball at a wall and knocking the wall down like, I did that! So it's a lot of fun for everybody out there.
Now, with all the big PvP battles, are they going to be like world event changing battles?
There wouldn't be world event changing in the sense of the world has a different story, but there are buffs and benefits that you experience outside of Cyrodiil. So if you and me were both playing Cyrodiil, but you were doing a dungeon, if we're doing really well there, you're going to get benefits from it no matter where you are. You don't need to be in Cyrodiil for that to get applied to you.
Any titles or achievements for accomplishing the battles?
Oh yeah, there's things like getting revenge kills. If somebody killed you, you kill them, you get an achievement for that. There's achievements for leveling up your character in PvP. If there's a ranking system, as the more alliance points you get, the higher up you go in the rank, so you get a different title from that. So there's plenty of abilities that you also earn from PvP as well. It's not just, you know, your class, your weapon, and your armor. We're also going to have a PvP skill line.
Now, what about any leaderboards? So this way you could compete with your own friends.
There will be leaderboards. We're not giving the total details on that yet, but there will be leaderboards.
Will mounts be accessible?
Yeah, mounts will be accessible. They will actually they'll help you cross the space a lot too, because Cyrodiil is very large. There's lots of space to cover, not only in the PvP focused portions, like the keeps and the resources, but there's towns scattered throughout it too. So, did you play Oblivion?
Yes.
Yeah, so in Oblivion there's like Cheydinhal, Coral, Bruma. All those towns are in there, and you know, using a mount to get from Cheydinhal to Coral, it'll help you out. So yeah, mounts are usable.
Now with all the different types of Daedra that always get involved, are they going to be making some scene?
Yeah, Molag Bal is the main bad guy in this one, and his plan is to pull Tamriel into Cold Harbor, his realm, because he can't come to Tamriel. So there's dark anchors that appear throughout the world, and they also appear in Cyrodiil. So there's places where you're going to see an anchor come from the sky, and you know that's Molech Ball trying to pull chunks of it out of there. There's places where that's very prevalent, like in Chaden Hall, and not Chaden Hall, in Bruma and around Cloud Ruler Temple. You'll really feel the presence there for that.
Will night, day, rain, will those affect your battle capabilities?
They won't affect battle capability in terms of like whether your abilities hit better or not, but I mean, it does get nighttime and it does get dark. So you'll see, what's awesome is seeing a Treb fire at night and seeing like a firebolt ballista fire at night, you see the light go with it, and you light up an area like, oh, there's NPCs up there that you might not have seen normally. So it doesn't necessarily affect your effectiveness, but you know, when it rains, it gets foggier. When it's snowing, it's a little more foggy, but it's, you know, it's snow. But there's not like you're getting more slippery or can't hit as well. There's nothing like that.
Now, with all the keeps you mentioned that they may make an appearance within the battles, will those be, you be able to dominate those? Would those help with respawning or any benefits for those?
All the keeps have several resource structures that help fill the keep up and keep it populated to have stronger walls, stronger hit points, and NPCs, guards that defend it, because you know you got to go to sleep sometimes, so they're there to help defend it. But you can respawn at a keep nearby if it's not under attack, and that's a great benefit to helping you cross the territory. Keeps are also linked together, so you can transit from keep to keep as long as they're not under attack and you own all the resource support structures.
Now, will all the PvPs strictly be like everybody kill everybody, or you may find yourself capture the flag, dominate a keep?
Yeah, there's lots of things to do for everybody out there in terms of small groups, large groups, super large groups, even solo players. One of the tactics that I like doing is going deep into enemy territory with a siege weapon and just start firing at a wall, and then the wall will crumble and then start to break, and then on the map it'll light up. And if it's an enemy force which is over trying to attack my territory, they'll pull back and like, what the hell's going on with my keep? So there's things to do for small groups, things to do for medium groups and large groups all over the place.
Now, with the different types of groups, every player has their own style. How crucial is the Holy Trinity of healer, tank, and DPS? Are they crucial in order to succeed these battles?
They're not necessarily crucial because everybody can be pretty much anything. Like whether you're a sorcerer, a dragon knight, or a Templar of the playable classes we have, you can change how you play that character. Like I played a sorcerer in heavy armor with a healing staff, and people are like, "Really? That works?" It's like, yes, it's completely viable. There's so many combinations you can make with your classes, with your weapon skill lines, with your guild skill lines, that there's not necessarily that Holy Trinity anymore. You can put yourself in that archetype if you want to, but we find that a lot of people experiment all over the place, and they have more fun figuring out how to do basically a dragon knight in leather armor, dual wielding with a bow. Like they're almost a roguey type, but they can still fight like front line. So people experiment all over the place.
Now, for the hoarders, people love grabbing everything and keeping onto it. Previous titles felt over encumbered, you slowly walked everywhere. Will you continue to feel that in the battles?
There's no weight in ours, but there is a limit to how much you can carry, and you can always expand your backpack, but there's no weight, there's no encumbrance. We found that with siege weapons especially, we can't weigh you down, so it's sort of like you can carry as many as your backpack can carry, but there's no encumbrance, you're staying still because you're carrying too much stuff.
Now, the beta recently popped off, people started playing. Will PvP be available in the beta for people to try out?
We're going to have that available later. We're not giving details quite later when, but there will be PvP available in beta.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, everybody. This is David from Project 510.